one of the Facebook groups, actually a private Facebook group, and I'm going to read out the question here, but it was really interesting, and I'm going to kind of give you a preview of a talk that we're going to be doing later this week or the beginning of next week. That's going to be about a 45 to 50 minute presentation about automations and different benefits of that. But I think the thing that I really want to dive into here is the chaos that's in our business, the chaos that is in our personal life because of our business, and why would you ever want to automate your business? So I'm going to basically open this up here in a minute. I'm going to read the question and dive into this, but this is a really interesting question, the way it was framed, and full transparency here. I am not selling automations in this video right now. I am literally going to go in and lift the hood of what happened in my personal life, and I think the misconceptions of most businesses in the service industry, whether it's lawn care, home cleaner, anything else in between, of the overnight success and how companies that are doing it right go to where they are, and the perception of their competitors is usually 100% wrong. They're not getting lucky. They're doing certain things in a certain fashion to have that overnight success. So I'm going to bump the screen over here and open this up so you can actually see this. But overnight success story, it begs the question. We really want to see what this is all about. But the question here, I'm going to read off my phone, is that convince me why automations is worth the extra cost for the business. Right now, my wife does all the invoicing and workings of the software that we're in. So we're not looking to replace a secretary or anything like that. I have struggled for a year to see the value in the cost of automations, especially the huge setup cost to even have it. And he goes on about the price. But basically the problem is, he says, I see as the company gets bigger, we're going to be more and more ingrained into the software. What should I do? Is it really worth it? He's not looking to replace a person there. So I'm going to kind of dive in and kind of break into what we did in my business, what happened in the 350 plus businesses we've worked with automating. But I think before we even look at any of that, we really need to look at the core foundation of the overnight success story and the mentality of that, and what's going on there. So basically, the thing that we're looking at here is that we are going in and looking at that overnight success story. And the first thing is basically from the garage to the penthouse. So we see time after time lawn care, home cleaning companies that literally out of nowhere instantly blow up, and they go from this itty bitty business to this massively large business. And the next thing we see is what we perceive is the benefits of time and money and control in these overnight successes. But the one thing that we don't see is the chaos and just the monumental struggle to build a successful business behind the scenes. So that is part of the question that begs itself, is what automations did in my business is it helped me conquer the chaos. And that chaos literally caused me to be working 100-hour weeks, caused a divorce, and literally the business ran my life. Now, this guy's question here is he's not looking to replace his wife or even an admin in the office. Is it really worth it? Well, I'm going to dive in and show you how the chaos in most businesses, and I'm willing to bet even in this business here, if this question asked, there is some chaos, and how we're wearing multiple hats and all the different things that are going on, and how automations will conquer that chaos in this gentleman's business and every other business that we've worked with, just like mine. So what causes all the chaos? Well, we're basically forced to wear multiple hats. We have no central focus, and you aren't sure how to grow, and you're probably drowning in technology. And I didn't read the whole question here off this gentleman's question, but basically he was struggling, it sounded like, with some of the aspects of the software that he's using. So when you're looking at the chaos of running a small business, there's a commonality. And for me personally, I've experienced this daily chaos, and each day can be filled with its own unique chaoses. So whether it's employees not showing up, equipment breaking down, people not paying you, and everything else in between. These are all the multiple sources of chaos in your business that automations can help you organize and systematize. So I want to take an in-depth look at this and see what the top causes of these chaoses are, and how to discuss to actually automate them eventually. But we're going to go in and figure out how to automate, organize, and then dominate. And there's three distinct things going on here. But what it really comes down to in the beginning is a mindset that the business owner needs and the strategic team needs, is a mindset to control the chaos. So wearing multiple hats is probably one of the biggest issues that we see, at least that I saw in my business. And who could be possibly guilty of this? Well, I would say just about everyone, including myself. So you have more than one job. It takes you to do 10 to maybe 15 different roles. So you're doing the selling and the marketing, the equipment maintenance, the scheduling, the billing, all these different things. These are all different roles that the business owner or the small group of people running a service business encounter. So each person in that business is wearing multiple hats and exponentially driving a higher level of chaos. So basically, when you're done firefighting all these different roles and hats you're wearing, there really is nothing left in the day or even energy to conquer and go out and build the strategy and be the evangelist of the business that you have. And that's what's going to get you to scale that business. But even worse, let's say we're down an employee, and basically even on a Saturday when I'm supposed to be spending time with the family in the service business that I had for lawn care, who is left to actually go out and jump on the truck because the jobs from a rain delay had to be taken care of? That's you. That's me, the business owner. So we're trying to figure out, how do we balance all these multiple hats and then still have the focus and ability to go out and strategically drive and grow that business? So we've got these 10 to 15 different roles and responsibilities that we're doing. We've got the ability or the inability to control things, and we're constantly being pulled in different directions. And if we're down an employee at a critical moment, guess what? It's you, the business owner, that's getting sucked back into those roles. So we're going to go in and show how automations can justify the cost and expense exponentially to get you out of this chaos. So basically, the problem that most business homeowners have, that I had myself, is we really have no central focus. And we're taking it one day at a time. Hard work and endurance keeps us going. And we are surrounded by this overwhelming, almost suffocating chaos around us. So we often hear that I'll just take it one day at a time. And taking it one day at a time without a plan is not going to work, because trust me, I've been there. So for every task you complete, there's 3 new ones that are created. So we need to create a process and system to manage these tasks. And all this hard work and endurance and grind and grit that we're putting in there is literally only going to lead to more chaos. At least it has in my businesses in the past. So, and once the chaos itself, usually once you're in that chaos, it's going to create even more chaos. So I can see, at least myself in the positions I've been in previously, it is overwhelming. And I know with the other business owners I talk to on a daily basis, when they get into this chaos and it continues to create more chaos, they're calling me in a place of complete overwhelmment and looking for a lifeline. But once we understand what the chaos is and what's causing it, we can focus on down in the areas in the business that we can automate and conquer the actual chaos itself. So the problem is, most of us are growing the wrong way. We're not sure how to grow, and the way some of us are growing is definitely the wrong way. So you aren't sure how to do or what you need to know, and but you do know you're fighting the daily fight, and by fighting the daily fight and having your head in the game constantly and not having that 40,000 square foot view, it's damaging your ability to actually go out and grow the business the way it is. Basically, you're out there probably either physically pounding the pavement or theoretically pounding the pavement, going out and trying to find new customers while you're continually going out to try to pay your bills. And if that wasn't enough, you need to go out and find new employees. You need to train them. You need to manage them. You need to get paid. You get the invoices done and everything else in between. And by trying to focus all on this at the same time as a single point of failure, most businesses are growing the wrong way. And what I'm going to propose is a new way to grow your business. So we're going in, and it's a daily fight. Like I said, we're finding new customers, we're pounding the pavement, and to pay our bills. So the next problem, and it was hinted at great in this question, is this gentleman is drowning in technology, or at least the perception of drowning in technology, because there isn't a streamlined process and system. So when we go in and build out a product like Service Autopilot and train it, we have a very systematic way of using that product. And it's literally from lead acquisition, estimating, scheduling, billing, and then nurturing and upselling. So it's a very systematic way, and we call them the 5 or 6 screens of success. So instead of dealing with 35 or 40 different screens in the platform, you're only dealing with a systematic way day in and day out, and the automations do the rest of it in a systematic way for you. So, but as much as we love technology, it can definitely be overwhelming and chaotic. So we're probably at email and data overload, or emerged in social media, because as we all know, we need to be on social media. We need to be pumping content out. We need to be that topic expert. But if you're busy working in the business and not on it, as Michael Gerber says, you're fighting the chaos of the day-to-day grind, and you're trying to do all these other things. So we're looking at Facebook, Instagram, tweets, and different reviews such as Yelp and Facebook reviews and Google reviews. And this is just absolutely causing more chaos in the business. Appears to be an endless grind of getting your billing out. So do we sync with QuickBooks? Do we don't sync with QuickBooks? Are we using a product like Service Autopilot, buying some time back that are automatically generating the invoices every day, every week, every month without double or triple entry? And after dealing with us, how can anybody expect you to go out and continue to scale and grow your business, because you are literally just drowning in the chaos? And then on top of that, the additional technology that's needed to run a successful business in this day and age. So by eliminating the chaos, we're going to get more value out of lead nurturing. So companies that excel in lead nurturing, 50% more sales are ready from the leads, and 33% lower costs. So by going out and just creating a simple lead nurture. So imagine all the people that request an estimate for your services. We nurture them right before with a lead letter, the 5 or 6 main reasons why our business is different. And then before the estimate, we go into a thing called short-term education. So we're going to educate them how to do that specific service themselves as a professional to create a higher perceived value. And we're going to overcome any of the sales or price objections to shorten that sales cycle. So we're going to go out and nurture them. And then by doing that, we're also going to lower our costs, because it's going to be in an automated but personal fashion. And then after we submit that estimate, we can go into a process called 20 days to close to systematically follow up on each one of those estimates via email, phone call, and text, all automated with accountability. So we're taking what is normally a very chaotic process and streamlining it, automating it. And if there is a person in there, it's assigning the task to a person with a deadline and a call script. And then once they become a client, we're going to continue to nurture them and do seasonal upsells to raise that client lifetime value. So it's not uncommon in the first 3 to 4 hours of an upsell process that someone gets 60, 70, sometimes 80 estimate requests for a service. So we're going to also lower that cost, but we're going to boost the revenue. And those are going to be sales ready for those leads, because those leads have already been nurtured and qualified. So 50% or more of those people are going to be qualified. So that's some of the foundational things that we're going to be looking at here. And we're going to look at really quickly the 5 steps to lead nurturing value. So the first one here is segmenting your list and your customers. So we want to be able to segment our list for people that are prospects for each service, people that have been submitted as an estimate that need to be closed, people that have an estimate that need to be followed up and closed at that point. And then when somebody becomes a client, what services do they have, and how can we go out through expansion and upsell them to raise their client lifetime value? Or is it a one-time service that needs to be upselled, a reoccurring service? Or on the flip side of that, maybe we've lost that estimate for that weekly cleaning or weekly lawn mowing, so we can go out and nurture and then upsell again. We need to go out and create offers that convert. So maybe we have a special offer from a one-time to reoccurring service. So if they don't automatically buy the reoccurring service, we're going to create a special offer to get them to convert into the reoccurring service, all in an automated, systematic process. Then once we actually get the sale, we want to have a process and system that's hopefully automated to deliver and actually wow them by following up and saying, hey, how did we do every 30, 60, and 90 days for a recurring service? Or maybe for a one-time service, there's an automated logic built in that we only follow up once. And then once we have those really good customers, how do we go out and ask for customer referrals? Do we go out and get them to know, like, and trust us and recommend them to their friends and family? Once again, creating the sales machine. And the next thing is, well, how do you go out and get started with this? Well, creating an automated process that systematically nurtures your leads and creates an upsell process is a really good place to start. So gentleman's question really was, sell me on the value of automations. Well, I don't really need to sell anyone on the value of automations. The first question I've got to ask you is your mindset. Is your mindset ready to conquer the chaos in your business and all the firefighting? And if you don't want to be in that place and be the single point of failure and have to tell everybody what to do, when to do, and how to do it, and then follow up if they don't do it for accountability and basically become a glorified babysitter, and you enjoy time with your friends and family and not being married to this business of yours, because let's face it, we all got into business to basically get the lifestyle and everything else we desired. But eventually this business just starts sucking the life out of us. So the idea of automations and the overnight success story, there is no overnight success story. It took me almost 18 to 20 years to build the service business that was of my dreams, the overnight success. But when we put the process and systems and accountability in place, it was interesting because it was, boom, overnight, it scaled. And probably at like 12 or 13 years in, after going through high school and college and then taking my lumps and then figuring out that I couldn't single-handedly scale a business. So if you have an individual in the office or your wife, whoever that is, no, we're not looking to replace that individual, but could we get a higher return on investment on that individual? So we're eliminating the repetitive and monotonous tasks. And I recently gave a talk with some studies on conversational marketing. And by automating your sales process through a messenger bot or a chat bot on your website, it eliminated all the double entry and qualification. And it came out to be almost 20 weeks of extra time a year that salesperson had to work and close the hottest leads and continue to build relationships with those existing clients. So are you going to go and let the chaos run your life, or do you want to organize, automate that system, and then eventually dominate? Because once you built that machine, you double down and you continue to grow and build that route density and scale that business. So question was, why automation? Sell me on it. The answer is, I don't need to sell you on it. It's really up to you. Are you willing to live with the chaos in your business, or do you want to conquer that chaos and organize the business first, automate it, and then double down and dominate it? And create a repeatable system, because the businesses are winning are the ones that are taking the time to put a process in place and organize those systems. Then they automate it, and then they double down and dominate their market. So comments or questions, happy to answer. I'm going to grab my screen over here so I can actually see the comments area. But it was just an interesting question. And it was a different approach that I kind of wanted to tackle it with that. So hopefully that was helpful. Sam wants to know, can automations run credit cards each month? I believe Sam's probably talking about Service Autopilot. Sam, the automation itself will not run the credit card in Service Autopilot right now, but it's literally 3 clicks. So we would go in and hit the checkbox. It selects all of them. When you go into the V2 or the V3 accounting screen, you hit charge cards, a little window pops up and says, hey, are you sure you want to run these cards? You hit yes, and it would batch out all those cards, whether it's one or several thousand cards, in about 2-3 minutes. So it's a 3-click process. And I think that feature is there to protect you. So I think that's a good move on their part. So any other comments, questions, happy to answer that. But just talking about automations, and when you see the overnight success story, which we all know isn't an overnight success story, that's the process they're doing. They're going in and they're organizing, they're automating, and then they're going to double down and dominate. And that's the power of automations. So whether you use somebody like Simple Growth to build them out, or you do it yourself, highly, highly recommend automating your business. And it allowed me to take my life back from my business and scale a second business here at Simple Growth exponentially. So we would never have been able to see over 450% growth just in Q1 this year and last year if it wasn't for organizing our systems and processing, automating, and then doubling down through content and all the other things we can do now that we have a sales machine built out with predictable results.